Next question I have is regarding the consecration of Russia, and perhaps I saved the most controversial for last. As I mentioned, there's a great deal of discussion about the consecration of Russia. Before I start, I want to mention what the consecration of Russia entailed. And this was requested by our Blessed Mother and also by Jesus later on, where he was more detailed in what he required for it to Sister Lucia. So there's three elements that Russia, in union with the bishops, and also the whole world. So I'm going to go through the history a little bit and the major points of it, so that I don't want to get too detailed. I'm going to try to make this concise. In 1942, Pope Pius XII, he consecrates the world, but he didn't mention Russia specifically, but he made an allusion to it, and with only a few bishops. Now Jesus appeared to Sister Lucia and stated that the consecration was pleasing but incomplete. And the result was that he also said that he would shorten the war. So it kind of implies that if the consecration was done, that the war would have been stopped. And maybe if the consecration was done before that, perhaps in the 30s, the war would have been avoided altogether. Now, the interesting thing that I find is, and it could boggle your mind a little bit, but when Jesus came to Sister Lucia and discussed the consecration of Russia to the Immaculate Heart, he also mentioned that we wouldn't do it right away, and it wouldn't be done until late. So it makes you wonder, why Jesus would ask us to do something he knows we would not do. But, again, we've talked in other videos, it's a test, basically. Now, Jesus can do anything he wants with Russia. He doesn't really need the Pope to consecrate Russia to the Immaculate Heart. He can do whatever he wants with Russia. So this is a test for the Church. You look at it that way. Now, in 1952, Pope Pius XII was made aware that it was considered to be incomplete in his previous consecration. So in 1952, he published an apostolic letter consecrating Russia to the Immaculate Heart, specifically. Now, the problem with that is that obviously Jesus wanted it done with all the bishops. So it really did not fulfill what needed to occur. And so why does Jesus want it done with all the bishops? Why? Why does he, besides being a test, why does he want this done, I guess is the question. He could have picked another test. He wants the victory over atheistic communism, the errors of Russia, secular humanism, that's basically working its way through all of society. He wants that victory to be attributed to his mother, to the Blessed Virgin Mary. And he wants it attributed to her for her glory, and that we understand that it's happening through her intercession. That's why he wants it public. That's why he wants all the bishops involved. And that's why the apostolic letter was insufficient. Now, in 1982, this is much later, there's a letter from Sister Lucia indicating that it's not done. We did not heed the appeal of the message. And we see that it has been fulfilled. Russia has invaded the world with her errors. and even more so today. Now, in 1984, and again, to go back to the previous question that we had, the first question, 1981, Pope John Paul II was shot, and this letter came from Sister Lucia in 1982. In 1984, Pope John Paul II at Fatima consecrates the world, and he did that with great fanfare. I remember watching it on television, and it was very public, which is exactly what was wanted by Jesus. But he did not mention Russia specifically. He did mention, however, enlighten especially those peoples on behalf of whom you are awaiting our consecration and offering. So again, is an allusion to Russia, but doesn't mention it specifically. Now, in 7 years later, December 8th, Feast of the Immaculate Conception, 1991, the dissolution of the Soviet Union was announced. Does that mean the consecration was done? No, it doesn't. What it means, it's very similar to the 1942 consecration, where we received what I would call partial credit. We didn't do exactly what was asked, but we did something. So we received partial credit, we received a blessing from Jesus. And that was the blessing. And perhaps if there wasn't this dissolution, perhaps there would be a nuclear war. And there may still be. I don't know. But that was definitely a blessing. And there has been a change within Russia. Is it totalitarian? Sure, yeah, it is. But they were vehemently atheistic and anti-Christian, and at least superficially, they now appear to be pro-church, and it may be designed to appease the populace. I can't say for sure, but what I can say, it is definitely a change, and it's a good change. So I would characterize all three in the same manner. They were all good in themselves, but they were not perfectly done per the request of Jesus and Mary. And we should still perform this consecration, and we should do it perfectly, because that's what our Mother in Heaven and Jesus deserve. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to help us promote this content.